Today we have a 2018 Ford Escape. We need to replace or upgrade the front speakers. We're going to show you how to remove the front door panel. We're going to start with our small little pick tool. And with our pick tool is a small panel inside of the door handle opening. And we're going to pry at the back edge of this because there is a little lip at the front of it where the back edge releases. We're going to pry the back edge out a little bit to release. There we go. And this will release a little black panel. There is a little notch on the front of it that goes in first, or should say come out last, because you pry at the back edge of that. This is going to allow you to remove a 7mm bolt here in the spot. We're going to next take our pry bar and remove the control panel. We're going to start at the back edge because, again, the front edge of this has a little tongue that goes in underneath the front of the panel, so you can't pry the front of this up. So we're going to start at the back edge here. This will snap up. We'll work our way around the edges here. Bring the control panel up. Pry this up, pull it up along the edges, pull back so that the front releases. We're going to pull this up out of the opening. There are 3 connectors here. Alrighty, with the control panel up out of the door, we have 3 connectors. They all have little triggers on them. We're going to squeeze the trigger down and wiggle a connector loose, hopefully. Okay, let's start with another one. Maybe we get, there we go. There we go. Push it all the way down in to make it secure. And pull that connector out. We're going to turn it over, and the 3rd connector is here. And we're going to push the trigger down on that. Remove this and set it to the side. Now these connectors are all keyed a little bit differently, so they only connectors fit back to one spot. No need to label them to see where they go. Now with this control panel up out of the way, it also lifted up a piece here that is going to allow us to remove 2 more 7mm screws in this opening. One here on the left and another here on the right. Okay, now we also have one more screw down at the bottom of the panel right here in the middle. We're going to remove this screw. And with our pry tool again, we're going to move back over to the reflector on the back edge of the door that's here. And we're going to pry the top edge of this from the door, and it will come back and allow the bottom to release. Now with this removed, we're going to go back to our 7mm and remove the screw here. Okay, now we're going to go back to our pry bar. The clips on this door are usually pretty tight, but we're going to work our way around the edges here. Or start supposedly down at the bottom here and then work up the edges. It helps. There we go. And the door will release, the clips will release up both front and back as you pull back on this. And they're going to lift it up out of the door jamb here to access the cabling on the back. Now this is the cabling on the back. We have the main cable for the door handle coming up here, and there's a little I want to say trigger here as well, and we sort of pull this back from the connector, and this should pop right out. This releases to go back in. The front goes in first, and then it snaps back down into place. But also here we have a connector off to the side for the door locks, and we're going to release this connector by pushing down on the trigger and removing that connector. Now we're going to check the door itself and the door panel. Be sure all the clips were released. Usually all the clips sit in specific spots. If they remain on the door, you can pry them off the door, put them back on the door panel so that this will be ready to reinstall. We did notice as we were removing the control panel at the top that we had one of the plastic clips fall off of the control panel here, and as we took off the bottom of the door panel, that fell to the floor. So we picked that, or we're going to pick that up and place that back onto the spots that they belong, so that it'll be there for installation as well. This is going to give access to our 6.5-inch speaker, 3-bolt pattern, Usually aftermarket can be somewhat tricky in here because you need a riser ring because of the depth of the speaker in the door. Sometimes you can cut out the existing speaker and place that into the and place the new speaker onto this trim ring that the factory speaker is on. After removing these 3 screws, we also have one connector that goes into the side here. Again, with a trigger, push the trigger down, remove the connector. The speaker will remove from the door. When reinstalling this door panel and placing it back up on the door, getting your linkage in place and your connector for the door locks, be sure that these connectors come up through the opening here so that you don't crush them back behind the door. Hopefully you've seen our video on removing the front door panel. The rear door panel is somewhat similar. There are a few little different tricks to that one. Again, we have the small panel up here in the door handle. You pry the back edge of that to remove the 1 screw here that comes out here. With your pry bar, you pry this center piece that's in the door panel with the window switch on it. We're going to start at the back edge of this and work our way across the side of the panel. It doesn't sound good as it unsnaps. But we're going to work our way up this panel. And this will pull forward. Again, we have another connector here. It has a real small trigger on it that you have to locate to be able to push down. This will push down on the trigger, remove the connector and the panel. Now, don't forget to feed this little connector through the door panel because there's only a small opening here. We have 1 mounting screw that's in this opening, 1 mounting screw in this opening as well. There's no reflector on the back of the door, so there's no screw there, but there is 1 screw in the bottom of the door panel as well. This should help you to remove the rear door panel. If you have any questions, see our website. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching.